Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now live at 4 on this Thursday. Danica Luce in for Susan Simon, who's on vacation this week.
All week long.
Thursday.
It is. We're almost there, aren't we?
Getting there.
We were saying that yesterday, too, but it does feel a little bit closer to the weekend.
And the weather's so nice today.
Oh, my goodness.
Perfect.
Hopefully you found some time outside.
We'll get to that in just a minute, but first, here's what's making news on this Thursday. It's a scene you don't want to see just before school starts. We'll tell you what administrators in Beaver Dam are doing after a car crashed into a middle school last night.
Plus, ahead of the school year, some districts are struggling to fill crossing guard positions, especially those with busy highway crossings. And attention travelers, what the TSA wants you to know about a major change to driver's licenses that could impact travel. I'm gonna have to check mine after that story.
That's a
for
tease.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Let's check the weather words though for today. As Mark mentioned, just a beautiful day out there. The bugs liking it too.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, it is. Can you say pleasant? If we can't, I know who can, and that is Dana Fulton out on the patio for us. Dana, how's it going out there?
It is delightful out here right now. Actually, Kobe, our production guy, and I were just talking about how nice it is to actually be outside. Looking at our visible cloud track, we've only had a few clouds drift on in. Overall, a mostly sunny day. Our Doppler track, of course, has been pretty quiet for us. It's going to stay quiet through the rest of the evening and overnight. We're at about 74 in Madison, 78 in Lone Rock right now, and about 81 in Mineral Point. So a really pleasant day. Of course, our temperatures a little lower than where we were at this time yesterday. Our dew points in a very comfortable spot in the 50s, and that's the ideal place for the afternoon. Creep up a little too higher, then it feels just a little too humid outside. Because our temperatures are, because the cloud coverage tonight, it's not going to be too thick. We won't have to deal with the cloudy sky. Our temperatures will fall pretty quickly after sunset into the mid-50s for our overnight lows. And then for Friday, plan on a really pleasant day. We'll have sunshine throughout the day. Nothing new building on in, and temperatures will be nice and comfortable again. But we'll take a closer look at Friday and our weekend in just a few minutes. Here's a quick look at our roads. The Beltline right at Fish Hatchery right now. Thankfully, the Beltline not looking too congested, actually. Both the east and westbound sides seem to be in a pretty okay spot. No accidents to report. Along the eastbound side, those speeds down to about 20 miles per hour or so on a few spots there near Fish Hatchery Road, near the John Nolan Drive exit, but the rest of the Beltline still moving at a pretty okay speed. Around Prairie du Sac, things are okay. A few delays there on 12 heading into downtown Sauk City, but no major spots. 26 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline. Sauk City to Middleton will be a 16-minute drive and 18 minutes from Sun Prairie to downtown on this beautiful evening.
Yeah, it is perfect. Get out and enjoy it.
Wonderful outside.
The carbon copy tomorrow.
Yes.
All right, looking good. Thank you, Dana. We'll see you in a few minutes.
First at 4, police in Beaver Dam say a drunk driver fleeing officers drove right into the side of Beaver Dam Middle School.
It happened just after 11 o'clock last night. Eric Franke joining us now with more details about just what happened and how this will affect the school building and the start to the school year. Eric?
Mark and Danica, the call came in, according to police, at about 11:15 last night. A 30-year-old woman reported a verbal argument with a 22-year-old man she was living with. She said he broke a window and then took off in a car drunk. Police found that car, but he wouldn't stop for police at first. Took off at a high speed before going right through the wall at Beaver Dam Middle School at West Mackey and Grove Streets. Witnesses nearby woke up when they heard the sound of that crash.
Came outside and seen some smoke. I didn't know what it was, and then all the police and fire department and ambulance came. Didn't know it was a car until Johnny 66 towed it out.
Arrested was 22-year-old Ray Cortez. Police say he was driving 80 to 90 miles per hour. They pegged the damage at a little over $100,000. There was a fire. Alliant Energy turned off the gas and power to the building. The district will now have to bring in extra contractors to make sure things get back to normal, hopefully by Monday. Now, the school year won't start in Beaver Dam until a week from next Tuesday on September 3rd, but a 6th grade open house that was scheduled in that building for tonight has been postponed, and they'll be scrambling a bit to get those repairs made, make sure everything is safe when kids start school in the days ahead. Mark and Danica.
All right, Eric, thank you. The Columbia County District Attorney says officers involved in a police chase of a kidnapping suspect this past spring will not face charges. The Wisconsin Department of Justice concluded the officers involved made decisions reasonable under the circumstances in response to an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm. A report released today said the deaths were tragic, but the suspects were in a stolen car while armed after having committed violent crimes. On April 29th, the suspects were involved in a high-speed chase with officers on I-39 when they crashed into the rear of a semi-truck on Highway 39, killing them both.
Madison police are looking for a suspect after a motel guest says someone tried to break into their room. Officers say just after 1 o'clock this morning, a man knocked on a motel room door at the Red Roof Inn just off East Washington Avenue. That guest staying in the room opened the door to find the person pointing a gun at them, demanding the guest let them in. That victim was able to keep the man out and call police. Guests in another room reported a wallet and a purse missing. The incident is still under investigation.
Happening now in South America. Stunning images are coming out of Brazil as a massive wildfire rips through parts of the Amazon. The country's National Institute for Space Research, which monitors wildfires, said there's been a record number of them this year, nearly 75,000, an 84% increase compared to the same period last year. The president of Brazil is blaming NGOs, or non-government organizations, for setting the fires, though he didn't provide any evidence to back those claims. Climate activists say that's a lie.
The president's speech is very irresponsible. He has to prove what he's saying.
The government is also facing international pressure to protect the vast rainforest from illegal logging or mining activities. The Amazon is often referred to as the lungs of our planet because it's estimated the rainforest generates more than 20% of the Earth's oxygen.
Here's that travel story we were talking about earlier. TSA is rolling out a new public awareness campaign for real IDs to avoid a rush just before the deadline. Travelers will not be able to board a flight without that real ID or alternative identification starting October 1st, 2020. Natalie Brand is at Reagan National Airport in D.C. with more.
Sir, I see that you are in compliance with the Real ID Act.
TSA agents are reminding U.S. air travelers the clock is ticking to get a Real ID compliant driver's license or another acceptable form of ID before the October 2020 deadline.
We want the public to make sure that they're aware. It's just another layer of security.
Congress passed the Real ID Act into law back in 2005, following a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission, setting national security standards for state-issued driver's licenses and IDs. TSA is starting the awareness campaign early to avoid a rush at state motor vehicles offices.
These will not be allowed next year, okay?
If we don't get it done as early as possible, everybody's going to be rushing at the last minute. And we don't want somebody to get in a situation where they come to the airport ready to fly on vacation and then suddenly they can't get through.
Those who do not have a Real ID by October 2020 will not be able to board a flight. However, TSA says travelers can use other forms of approved identification like a passport or permanent resident card.
I've got a passport.
Okay, so you have to go and get a new license.
Yeah, I guess so.
I have heard about it, yeah. I just haven't looked into it yet.
When I travel, I have what I need, so I'm good.
These star symbols indicate a driver's license or state ID is Real ID compliant in most states. TSA says an enhanced driver's license is also acceptable. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Reagan National Airport.
Most states have already begun issuing ID cards under Real ID requirements. 4 states, though, including Oregon, Oklahoma, New Jersey, and Maine, have extensions and are expected to be in compliance later this year.
More local news now. As the school year approaches, communities are struggling to fill a critical position one officials say doesn't get enough recognition. Madeline
O'Neill is back from Baraboo with why police say recruiting more crossing guards is a priority.
That's an important thing. City of Baraboo police say they currently employ 5 crossing guards, but Captain Rob Sinden says if he could, he'd have 100. That's because they help students navigate busy intersections like the one here on Highway 33 or 8th Street, where the 4 lanes of traffic can be dangerous. Sinden says years ago in West Baraboo, a crossing guard got hit, and they've had close calls in his jurisdiction as well. Baraboo police have had fewer and fewer people applying to fill the positions, leading to a shortage he says isn't unique to his community.
It's not just in Baraboo, it's really in Portage, it's in all the surrounding communities, because again, we're not seeing those adults who want to stand out in the rain, the inclement weather, etc., but it takes a special kind of person.
Sinden says the main incentive for crossing guards is the relationships they build with the children being at the intersections day in and day out. Now, those interested in applying to be a crossing guard in Baraboo can get a hold of the community police officer. We'll have her information on our website. And coming up at 5, you'll hear from a family on why they're so grateful for the crossing guards they already have in their community.
And it's not just the safety aspect. I mean, these are who the kids are coming in contact with even before their teachers, potentially.
They get to know them. They high-five them every day. They say some of them bring treats. So,
yeah, very important.
Yes, very important. Thank you, Maddie.
You're welcome.
An effort to renovate Madison East High School's field house could get a boost if it wins a grant contest, and you can help. The project costs $3.2 million, but the school can't pay for it alone. So after district funding and donations from the community, the project still needs $250,000. 10% of that cost would be covered if East High wins the State Farm Neighborhood Assist Grant for $25,000. The renovation will give the Milton McPike Fieldhouse amenities like a new entryway to the school and enough bleachers to house all 1,700 students at once.
The amount of pride in the community that this new space will bring has really trickled down to our students, to where they're holding their heads a little bit higher now, knowing that this brand new, $3.2 million facility is going to be theirs at their home.
Voting for the State Farm grant ends tomorrow, but East High will still be collecting donations after that. To vote, go to channel3000.com.
There is more to come at 4. If it seems like you're paying a little less at the pump these days, you're not imagining things.
You are paying less. We'll get a price check on the nation's gas prices when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. Gas prices almost always hit their highest levels in the summer.
But things are starting to change. According to AAA, the national gas price average has dropped 17 cents over the past month. Now, the group predicts another decrease of 20 to 25 cents in the coming months. The main reason for cheaper gas is because crude oil prices are dropping, and they're expected to go down even more this fall.
Crude oil makes up about 60% of the retail price. And right now, we've seen crude oil prices about $15 to $20 cheaper a barrel than they were last year.
AAA says gas tends to be cheaper after Labor Day as people drive less and demand drops.
Stocks struggled for direction on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials managed a 49-point gain, closing at 49,051. The Nasdaq was off 28, and the S&P 500 was down 1.5 points. Well, it is almost the weekend in the 608. Friday Eve, we call this?
Yes, absolutely. And here with a look at what's going on in the area is Madison Magazine Associate Editor Joel Patnoud. Hey, Joel.
Hey.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
You as well.
Big festival on the east side.
Yeah, and it's kind of a sign that summer is kind of winding down.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Well, yeah, but all the same, the Orton Music Festival has brought a lot to the east side for several decades. It starts always Friday night with a pizza and ice cream social and the Cycropia aerial dance troupe among the branches of the park's large oak trees. And then tomorrow night as well, for music, at the Orton Park Festival is the Pitch Perfect Beatles tribute band called Get Up Wisconsin, as well as the Madison indie band Slow Pulp taking the stage. On Saturday, the music continues with a lot of made in Madison music from Rain Stern, a young singer-songwriter and phenomenal guitarist, fun punk mainstays the German art students, and tenured roots rock band Honor Among Thieves. Then on Sunday, there's jazz from the Bill Roberts Combo and the cowpunk of Wood Chickens, among others. But that's the Orton Park Festival.
You're making these names up.
I know, right?
I am not.
I will say, if you haven't seen the acrobats in the trees, it is so cool.
It is cool.
It is really, really
That's
cool.
what the festival's known for.
Yeah, absolutely. So from music to some art.
Yes, now this is a first-time event. The Momentum Urban Arts Festival will include 50 or more, actually many more, street artists from around the country, spending all day Saturday painting murals on buildings along Monona Drive, Cottage Grove Road, and East Washington Avenue. Now this is sponsored by the Monona East Side Business Alliance, and the event will also include some of those artists painting and DJ spinning records in the parking lot of organizer Momentum Art Tech Madison at 195 Cottage Grove Road. And you can go there for maps to where all these murals are being painted. But of course, you'll see them well after Saturday.
What a very cool idea that is.
Yeah, really.
All right, I'm having an 80s flashback here.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Well, you know, you'd have to be out of touch to not know that Daryl Hall and John Oates, of course, are playing Sunday evening at Breeze Stevens Field. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, Hall and Oates, are the best-selling music duo in history. Think Private Eyes, Man Eater, and Kiss on My List. Just 3 of their #1 songs and a fraction of their 34 top 100 hits they scored in the 1980s.
34, wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that show opens at 6 with the alternative hip hop and blues act G Love and Special Sauce.
That's a strange combo.
And thank you for having that in my head. And then finally, a little bit of a circus act.
Circus is a town.
Yeah, we were already talking acrobats, so might as well.
Well, yeah, and you know, this is a very circus-happy town, and this is a traveling Broadway-style circus coming with 15 members, and they're proud to say no animal acts. This is created by a former Ringling Brothers ringmaster named Kevin Venardos. The circus includes more aerial artists, jugglers, contortionists, comedians, and magicians, and their 90-minute shows are guaranteed to thrill audiences of all ages. They've set up their big top on the Dave & Buster's side of the Westtown Mall and started performing last night. The circus will remain in town until September 2nd.
2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice long stay.
Very cool. All right, Joel, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy the weekend.
You too.
Get this month's Madison Magazine for all the best in the Madison area.
There is more to come at 4, including a look inside the world of future department stores.
And tonight at 5, a lawyer reacts to a religious discrimination lawsuit filed by Edgewood High School against the city of Madison. We'll be right back.
So you probably remember the great dress debate of 2015. Was it white and gold or black and blue?
Remember that?
Yes.
Well, now there's a new optical illusion driving the internet crazy. Check it out. Is it a bird or is it a bunny?
Ooh.
It's a bird.
Yeah,
But
it's
look,
a bird.
but if you look at the eye and
I
see the
get
beak
it.
as the
There's no
rabbit's ears.
nose. That's what gives it away
Yeah,
for me.
Well, and the ears aren't in the right spots.
No. No.
Survey says it's a bird.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's an African white-necked raven named Mischief, to be exact. This 18-year-old fella belongs to the World Bird Sanctuary in Missouri, and apparently he's a pretty talented guy. Not only does he fly, he talks, he paints, and of course confuses the internet.
Paints.
Now, if you look at it long enough, it could be a bunny.
I could at like the corner of my eye, but it's a bird.
Well, yeah, it is,
I agree with you, though. The ears are also not in the right spot. Like once
The beak is very still, though.
Yes. He
Gosh.
looks very, very content with this little head rub
Yes.
right now. Rubbing
It's a
right
nice
by his
massage.
ears.
His,
Yes.
his name should be Lauren. What was that one?
Oh, what?
What was it? Remember the...
Laurel
Yanni. Remember
We got it
people-
from our producer.
People
Yeah.
heard one
Thank
thing.
God Matt's here to bail Mark out because we're the two boys
Don't
over
bring
here.
it up if you don't know the answer, Mark.
Remember that one thing that happened one time? It was great. It was awesome.
So it's a bird.
It is a raven. So, weather-wise, though,
Nevermore.
for the next few days. No,
Always
the forecast
more.
is always
Always
more. Yes,
There's more in
yes.
four.
Sunshine for us with comfortable temperatures. I'll look at Friday and the weekend right after the break. Right now it is beautiful outside. Our Doppler track's nice and quiet and calm throughout the state. barely even a cloud for us right now. Mostly sunny. If you're stepping out the door in Madison right now, temperature-wise, we're in the mid-70s. Those dew points in the low 50s, so it's incredibly comfortable. Nice calm breeze coming through also, so we don't have to worry about too windy conditions. High pressure is ridging on in, keeping things quiet throughout the northern plains and Midwest. We do have the stationary front well to the south, stretching through parts of Kansas and Missouri and all the way through Ohio. They are dealing with some isolated showers and thunderstorms today. Of course, for us, not the case at all. No severe weather potential. It's nice and quiet. Any chances for storms today? Our severe weather outlook is really along that line where this front is stalled currently. So over the next several hours, plan on a mostly clear sky for this evening and for overnight. By Friday, we get to see some sunshine, and then for the weekend, our breeze shifts just a little bit. Saturday and Sunday afternoon will be a little more southeast, so that warmer air will help our temperatures climb just a little bit more for both Saturday and Sunday, but it'll still be very pleasant outside for both days with sunshine. Temperatures pretty close to average. Overnight lows will drop for us a little bit. With that clear sky, we'll be in the mid-50s. A seasonal start to the day, but 55 early in the morning with a little breeze from the northeast is just a little cool, but we're mostly clear for the morning, and then in the afternoon, mostly sunny. Afternoon highs will be back in the mid-70s, so another very pleasant day outside, and thankfully we don't have to factor in those dew points either for the day. Heading into your Saturday, plan on another day with temperatures in the mid to low 50s early in the morning. North of Camp Douglas, we could even see those temperatures fall to the upper 40s for our overnight lows. In the afternoon, though, we will be mostly sunny for your Saturday, and high temperatures will land in the upper 70s. So we are planning on just a little warmer weather again with that wind switching direction for Saturday and Sunday. Now, after sunset, our temperatures will drop pretty quickly for us. We'll be falling through the 60s through this evening and then through the 50s overnight. Again, overnight lows will land in the mid-50s for early on Friday morning. Plan on about 54 for our overnight low in Madison with a mostly clear sky. That's still pretty comfortable outside, just a little cool early in the day, especially in the shady spots. Again, our light breeze coming from the northeast for your Friday morning. Now, by Friday afternoon, we'll be close to 76. Really similar to today, another very, very pleasant day outside. A mostly sunny sky for the entire day. And then as we head into the weekend, the sky conditions will stay pretty similar for us. In fact, we're looking at a mostly sunny sky stretching through the weekend. And then as we head into Monday and Tuesday, we are looking at the chance for some showers and thunderstorms to march back on in. So scattered showers expected for Monday. The chance for showers and thunderstorms will develop heading into Tuesday. By the middle of next week, temperatures will be in the mid-70s. So we drop just a little bit. And then we'll stay in the mid to low 70s for the end of the week and into the following weekend. Good news as we look ahead to Labor Day weekend. Right now, it doesn't seem like anything new is going to be marching in, so we're going to be in quite a nice pattern, not only for this weekend, but for, of course, the three-day Labor Day weekend heading into September. So we will start talking about fall weather and September weather here in just no time. But we really do have a nice stretch, again, through this weekend for us.
Enjoy the weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I can't get over how calm that bird was.
He's still on the bird.
So
Laurel or
rabbits.
whatever his name was.
I mean, ravens are incredibly intelligent, incredibly intelligent. So I imagine that the person scratching it was some sort of owner or with the bird sanctuary. If it was scratching right by its ears, that bird was probably just as content as Lola or Louie when you're scratching them right on their little haunches.
A mouth breather, too.
Yeah.
Beak open.
I got nothing to add to this conversation.
I'm just fascinated by it.
You guys are hysterical.
Thank you. Well, the convenience of online shopping may be great for consumers, but it's not so good for traditional brick and mortar stores.
Many have closed in recent years, and now there's an experiment underway near Dallas that could be a model for the store of the future. Janet Shamlian reports from Plano, Texas.
It could be the future of retail. Almost 14,000 square feet of store that doesn't feel like a store. Filled with areas to hang out and a very popular restaurant.
It's just a nice alternative place to meet with people, have business meetings or even just to chill out and work for a few hours, not in the office.
Sprinkled throughout this contemporary space, more than 30 trendy brands.
So the more that you guys hear or have to say, tell us. We'd love to know.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
From purses and pet products to sunglasses and shoes, Neighborhood Goods stocks products you can usually find only on the internet.
Walking through, it's kind of Instagram to life, but I can actually come in and connect with them.
It's a department store / pop-up, where merchandise changes quickly and where online brands, like Rothy's Shoes, can check out what works in the offline world.
All of these brands are available online, so why would someone come in here?
There's something very special still about seeing it in person.
Founder Matt Alexander has been called the rebel of retail.
Our focus in this room is creating a sense of magnetism to the space that has very little to do with the transaction and much more to do with that experience.
Sellers sign a short-term lease, sometimes only a month or two, a guarantee there's always something new.
For shoppers, it's a chance to touch and feel a product they may have only pointed and clicked on. For the brands, it's a much bigger opportunity. There are hidden cameras all over this space, giving sellers a chance to see who's buying and how they're interacting with the product.
Some of the cameras count heads.
This little white box here is a Bluetooth beacon that plays with our apps.
Others tally information like gender and what a customer looks at, picks up. Valuable intelligence.
Brands right now get an email from us every week that shows, sales and feedback from our store staff, but it also has, how many people went into your space, what is the general age range, how frequently were they transacting.
A little big brother, all those cameras. Shoppers seem to think it was no big deal.
I feel like every store, there's somebody watching, security purposes, so yeah, it's a good store for sure.
Neighborhood Goods' next move is into New York City as the products here test out new ways to get customers' attention. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Plano, Texas.
That is interesting.
It is super interesting.
The internet comes to life.
I know, it's like a regression almost, but still moving forward. Yeah.
They got to do something.
They got to do something, yeah.
Well, still to come at 4, turning an entire city street into a work of art.
That's what they did on a street in Detroit. It's being called an American wonder. We'll take you there when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
live look at Lake Mendota. Kind of a cloudy day, but very nice.
Oh my gosh, to be out on a boat today.
Get rid of that humidity. Perfect. Well, this summer, CBS News has been showcasing different areas of the country that they're calling American Wonders.
And today we bring you to Detroit, where discarded trash is really becoming treasure. Adriana Diaz reports.
Come along, catch a half a lump. Sit with me on a muddy clump. We'll sing a song of days gone by.
If a junkyard had a fever dream, it might look something like this.
Don't be long for the end is nigh.
Scattered in empty lots among the few remaining homes on this 2-block stretch of Heidelberg Street are seemingly random objects that might make more sense inside those homes.
Come along now.
But making sense seems to be the last thing on the mind of artist Tyree Guyton.
People probably will come here and think it looks like a junkyard.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's okay with you?
That's okay.
Guyton grew up on this street with 3 generations of his family through the rise and fall and now renaissance of the city around it, Detroit.
My grandfather, he was my best friend. I was 9 years of age when he gave me a paintbrush and told me to paint and said that the world was my canvas.
But that world imploded in 1967 when racial tensions and post-war urban decline sparked 5 days of deadly riots in their own backyard.
Oh, I thought the world was coming to an end, and that area was hit hard.
So the riots and the aftermath led to the emptying out of this neighborhood?
Absolutely.
And that's really driven you
Oh, yes.
to bring the focus back.
Someone had to do it. And so why not me? I can see the ghosts of the people who used to live here.
When those people moved out, they left behind the objects that once filled their lives.
So I decided to gather those things up and to create this magic.
So you're making a statement with the things that are left behind are still valuable.
Absolutely. You make it valuable.
Valuable because today, Guyton's so-called Heidelberg Project attracts an estimated 200,000 visitors a year from all over the world, adding more than $3 million annually to the local economy.
I just like the oddity of it all. This is a great way to put this area on the map.
It's bringing the neighborhood back to the neighborhood. It's really interesting.
It also brought controversy to the neighborhood. Some residents complained about traffic and code violations, and the city even bulldozed parts of it twice.
I don't mind getting in trouble first and apologizing later if necessary.
The Heidelberg Project is now working with the city to address those concerns, a task that falls to its president, Janine Whitfield.
And it's like any other family. You got sisters and brothers that don't get along, but we never stop trying.
A former banker, she made a wrong turn down Heidelberg Street 26 years ago and met Guyton sitting on the curb. Today, she's also his wife.
Do you feel that your work has followed the rise and fall and rise of Detroit?
I definitely do. I think it is the greatest symbol. And as the city of Detroit is kind of having this new life, so to speak, so is the Heidelberg Project.
Ironically, that new life means dismantling some of the installations and moving them to galleries around the world. They have a proposal at City Hall to turn this once blighted neighborhood into a vibrant artists' village with live-work studios, an arts academy, and businesses that cater to them. They've even trademarked their own school of art.
We call it Heidelbergology.
What is your definition of Heidelbergology?
It is the study of found materials incorporated into the fabric and structure of an urban community and the effects on that community.
You've put Heidelberg, this neighborhood, on the map, and now you want to take it to the next level?
That's why I can walk away. I've done it.
As this neighborhood's profile's risen, so has Guyton's. He's now represented by an art gallery in New York, and other cities have asked him to create works of art to revitalize their neighborhoods. So it seems the philosophy of Heidelbergology is spreading.
That is spectacular.
Yeah, super interesting. And the developments that are coming with that artist village is really neat.
It is really neat. Good for him.
Yeah.
Well, still to come at 4, economists are warning of a looming recession.
Yeah, we've heard it all week. UW professor Moses Altzik is in the green room. We will get his advice on what to do with your 401k investments. He says it's time to prepare, not panic. That's when Live at 4 continues.
So right now, of course, on the Beltline, we are seeing delays on the eastbound side. Westbound looks a little bit better. Just more folks hopping on the roads. No accidents, though, on the Beltline right now. That's always the good news. Those speeds reduced down to the teens, still stretching all the way from Seminole Highway and 151 through John Nolan. Now, of course, still in the 60s around Gammon Road. Now, for Prairie Stack and Sauk City, no major delays right now around Lake Wisconsin. Things look okay as well. To get from Janesville to the Beltline, it'll take you about 27 minutes, 16 minutes to get from Sauk City to Middleton, but the drive from Sun Prairie to downtown, just a little longer than usual, about 20 minutes this evening. That's a quick look at traffic.
New titanium credit card comes with a headache familiar to iPhone users everywhere. It can get scratched up pretty badly in the real world. Apple says keep it away from leather and denim, and don't place it in a wallet that already has a different credit card. It'll get scratched. Apple says that the card comes into contact with hard materials or surfaces, it's possible the coating will be damaged. The bottom line, the Apple card shouldn't touch anything. Don't use it.
Right. I was about to say, or that, maybe get a little felt pouch.
I don't know.
Wow.
Okay.
All right, indeed.
If you have money in the stock market and if you have a 401k, you most likely do. Watching Wall Street is like watching a roller coaster.
And most economists now agree a recession is on its way. UW-Madison professor Moses Altzik is here to remind us not to panic. Thank you for joining us.
I was just going to panic.
Yeah.
No. You shouldn't panic unless you have that credit card that's not supposed to touch anything.
Don't run it through a thing.
I would honestly panic if I had that.
Don't put it in your jean pocket. Don't put it in a wallet. Nothing.
That's right. Well, people should really not panic unless they're doing the wrong thing.
And what would that be?
Well, that actually varies from person to person. It depends on your age, it depends on your financial situation, it depends on how close you are to retirement. It depends on whether you actually know that you're going to need some money in the short run for something big. So, in those situations, being sort of all in the stock market, it probably does not make sense, but that's not something unique to today. People should just have a plan, first of all, and once you have a plan and you know that, for example, you're at least 5 years out from retirement, then you can afford to be in equities more because guess what? Are they going to drop? Is the stock market going to drop when a recession comes? Of course it's going to drop, but it's going to come back up. And if you can afford to wait, can you mitigate that a little bit? Have a more balanced portfolio of stocks and bonds? Of course you can, but certainly there's nothing to worry about unless you know that you're going to need the money in 3 years, and if the next recession comes in 3 years, you may be short. So, a little planning goes a long way.
But a recession is coming eventually. We don't know exactly when.
A recession is always coming.
I mean, the economy does that.
Yes, the recession is always coming, and then another boom is coming after that. We know that. The timing is a little harder to predict. We also have some, political and economic volatility. We have a trade war with China, which is not sort of something customary. We keep having sort of warning signs of trade wars with other places that traditionally we've had good trade relations with, like the European Union. You have the Brexit situation. People are speculating: is that government going to fall? Is there going to be a new referendum? Reversing Brexit could mean all kinds of new things for the global economy as a whole. Stability in China and prosperity in China. So there's a lot of moving parts to this. But regardless, if everything turns out and a recession happens a little later, I promise you one is going to happen. It's just a matter of being prepared.
So if you're getting your retirement, like some people are, you want to reduce that risk. What, you put more money into bonds?
Yeah, some people are putting more money into bonds. If people figure that they may want to have a certain amount of money in cash, up to cover their anticipated expenses for, say, 2 or 3 years. And anticipated expenses is not just lifestyle, but also charitable giving and other things like that. I was talking a couple of days ago to Ben Sims, who's from Ben Sims Financial, who is in the annuities business. And people who sell annuities, their business is booming. He's got more business than he knows what to do with. At times when people expect volatility, there are more safe investments that basically reduce risk. The chances that you're going to lose, let alone lose big, become very, very, very small. It's just a matter of having a balance, and as long as you have that, you're going to be okay.
And is there any way to anticipate just how, quote unquote, bad this upcoming recession might be, or is it all because of those factors?
It doesn't. Nobody certainly anticipates a recession as bad as the Great Recession, and the circumstances around that were, unique in a lot of ways. I hope we've learned our lesson when it comes to not going all the way back to an era of deregulation, completely. But certainly we're in a good spot. I think a recession, when it comes, is not going to be a devastating recession by any means. It's just going to be a downturn that's going to, hurt people in the short run. But hey, good times are coming after that.
There you go.
Just bide your time.
Mr. Glass half full. Moses, thanks for being with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. perfect outside.
Oh, fantastic. And again, if you weren't able to enjoy today or yesterday, you still have tomorrow and the weekend. We're in a really nice pattern right now. A lot of sunshine, our visible cloud track not bringing anything new in. Of course, our Doppler track also very quiet throughout southern Wisconsin. Temperatures are delightful. We're at 75 in Janesville, 74 in Madison, and 70 right now in the Dells with our dew points in the 50s. So yes, get outside if you can and spend your evening outside.
Yeah. Right after the news.
After the news, yes.
There you
Go
go.
during commercial breaks.
Tomorrow here on Live at 4, Michael Bruno gives us a behind-the-scenes tour of the new Edgewood High School Performing Arts Center.
And our K9 correspondents Lola and Louie have the best animal stories of the week in the News Hounds. We'll be right back. I just want to scoop them up.
In today's Final Touch, we take you to the streets of Hong Kong where they're trying to distract marauding spirits.
Yeah.